message for my people.
Nick Dab, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my pocket's that deep.
With
With nothing to prove, I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been a threat.
Joining us now, and shouts to my guy Wayne for making the connect.
What's up? What's up?
We got Teofimo Lopez in the building, American professional boxer. And I think my favorite accolade of yours, bro, because the list is endless. Native New Yorker, baby.
Mm-hmm. And
When you from the five boroughs, I automatically gravitate to you. I was telling you before, man, because I would definitely describe myself as a casual boxing fan. I tune into the big fights. But when I first heard about you and you being from Brooklyn, I was like, yo, Wayne, I gotta fuck with him. Like, for real. I like doing that even with like college sports or any athlete when they're from New York City. It's like, you know how it is, man. You grew up there. Like, you rep that more, especially when you leave. Like, I've been in Vegas now for about a year and a half, and I rep Queens even more than I did before. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, back in Queens. So it's, I would definitely say that your fights are the fights that I tune into, for sure.
Nah, thank you, man. That means a lot, man. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day, being over here, man, and just getting it down to the core of who I am and what it means to really be a New Yorker, you know? So all this stuff, I think that when you think about it, man, like you've had so many great champions from Zab Judah, Shannon Briggs, Mike Tyson, Brownsville. I mean, and then Teofimo Lopez, you know, from Brooklyn. So I think that it all stands in that way, you know. Sunset Park is really where I was at. So 718. A lot of that, man, it comes together. Comes together, man.
What would you describe it as being a New Yorker? I want to start there first. Because I like obviously, you know, being a New Yorker myself too. I like telling people like, yo, it's that New York shit. Sometimes, but you know, you don't understand. Like some people don't understand it. Like there's a different way. You know, like for me, where I grew up in Queens, it's probably the most diverse place in the world, bro. Like where I grew up and in my high school, white kids were like the minority. Yeah, you know, like it was predominantly Latino, Black, Indian, Asian. And like white kids were like 10% of the population. So like for me, like the most diverse place in the world was Queens growing up. So how would you describe yourself as or describe what a New Yorker is?
I think a New Yorker is just someone that tells it straight up, like straightforward.
That real shit.
Like, that real.
rude.
Like, it's not gonna cut it short or sweet. Just gonna say it plain blank. And a lot of people get offensive about it. It's like we look at it like, man, you just soft if you can't really take that. You can't take that in. I mean, when you go out there in New York, I love it. I'll be honest, I love it every time. The culture, everything. You know what I mean? You know, you got LA that tries to mimic it, but it's just all over the place.
LA tries to mimic New York? What?
He's a LA boy. That's why
crazy.
he takes offense to that.
We do?
Hey, you know, but at the same time, we all family because we all got our style.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can't match like the swag or so. Everybody got their own, you know, their own base.
Yeah.
It's all about how you you raise, because California is so big compared to New York. You know, you got 5 boroughs, but in LA and California,
so many different hoods.
Different hoods.
Yeah, it's a hood every block.
Every block, exactly. And it's like, all right, how do you weigh the options there? You know, but then they talk about pizza, they talk about all these other, try to compare the foods and all that, man. But I think that I don't want to be biased at all. You know, I actually love, you know, just the culture overall in both genres. But I just feel like it's something deep with like Brooklyn. There's deep something with New York. You know, maybe it's just my root. You know what I'm saying? You know, I always tell people though I'm like a Brooklyn-born Broward kid, because also I was out in South Florida.
Okay.
You know, for a while, for a good minute. You know, and just from all those things, kind of figured out like my style, my fighting is straight from New York.
What inspired you to get into boxing, bro? Was it the neighborhoods you were growing up in?
Was fighting growing up?
Was that?
To be real, man, it was embedded in me. Yo, it was just bred. Like my father he would do boxing. He used to take me to Red Hook, and he used to take me to in Gleason's. And back then, my father was trying to be a boxer himself, and he even went to the Daily News Golden Gloves back then. And you know, he tried for a little bit, had a few amateur fights, but I guess he just, you know, he was more of a street fighter. You know, my father was more Flatbush and raised out there, real hardcore. And I think he kind of wanted me to see a different outlook. I think the more I was there, obviously ends up becoming like a bad habit if you stay in the wrong crowd. So to me, man, I think that it just really came to that sense of like, well, I don't want to have that, and he made sure my father was a drug dealer at one point, selling in the corners and stuff. And I mean, that was the only way at that time he was making a living. So I think he didn't want that for me.
Mm.
I'm the only boy, only son. So yeah, I love the fact that my father didn't have that mentality like other fathers maybe may have or other men, where it's like, well, I had a hard life, maybe my kid can have it too.
Right.
Nah, he changed that, and look what it did for me.
Oh yeah.
So when it comes to like New York and everything, I love it to the core. I got family out there from all different of the boroughs, from Staten Island to Long Island. I mean, like it goes.
Right.
So I think that every time I'm out there and I'm fighting Madison Square Garden and the Mecca, yeah, it's big.
How do you feel about the state of boxing currently? What's your mindset on where boxing is as a whole?
It's a decrease right now coming through. It's like a deficit. It's not doing too well.
Why?
I would say. I would say because of the fact that we're not getting the best of the best facing each other.
And do you think that's because of promoters or because you guys don't want to fight each other? I think it's both.
Well, I believe that a lot of the fighters, I want to say myself, my track record speaks for itself. My first world title was against the world champion Richard Comey in the Mecca. I was 22 when I won my first world title, and then right away we fought the number one pound for pound at that time, Vasily Lomachenko, who everyone counted me out, especially Vegas, 4-1 odds. Then we gave a run for our money when we fought Josh Taylor last year in June, who was also undisputed world champion. So when you think about it, even me just climbing up the ranks, Diego Magdaleno, who was a 2-time former contender for world titles. So I think maybe me X me out. When you see the other guys, though, you try to see the records and see what they're trying to do. It's more like there's so many ways we can make fights happen by just contacting one another. That's what Crawford and Spence did.
Yeah.
And it's not happening.
It took a while for that fight to happen, though.
They have to let it marinate.
Yeah, so why haven't the fight with you and Devin happened yet? Like, what's
I tried my best 3 times already to make a fight with Devin, and it hasn't happened for their own reasons. Huh?
Well, I mean, what's stopping it?
To be real, Cash, I don't have an issue with.
Mhm.
I just like to beat the guys that they think is the best. So it's on
I can
their
tell
side.
by that smile too, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it's their side that's got that all sorted out. You got to realize eventually there's investors that come in the mix. So they say it's business. But what happens with the business is that it ends up taking away from the hype of the fight. I try to make a fight happen with him. I even contacted Joe Fisher, the exec in Madison Square Garden, and Sal on LinkedIn. I expressed this before, and I'll say it here. They gave me the opportunity. They said, hey, listen, we want you to fight. We'll do it at the Madison Square Garden Sphere here in Las Vegas. You and Devin Haney, well, why not? So I contacted Haney myself.
Right.
It never happened. He said he's his own boss, and he don't talk to me because I'm not my own boss. And
That's true, though, right? You're not your own boss. You're under Top Rank.
No, that's not. I'm Takeover Promotions. I'm co-promoted by Top Rank.
Yeah, but Top Rank has a final say-so.
No, they don't.
So you guys promote and take care of everything, not Top Rank.
Top Rank will take care of the venue. Yes, they can.
Right. That's the most important thing.
Not necessarily, because we have investors that could pay for it. I'm the only guy sponsored and endorsed by Bud Light and Essentia. And may I go more? Nestle and Anheuser-Busch, which is very huge. So they could put the money in for me if needed to.
So why hasn't that fight happened yet? Because don't you think that would be more of an appealing fight than the fight that you're
You got to talk to your
down?
mans about that.
I mean, do you think it's Devin?
Of course it's Devin.
So
because
Devin
I
don't want to
contacted
fight
him.
you.
Why say no to Madison Square Garden Sphere when they just spent like $2.3 to $2.7 billion to make an event?
The Sphere here, right?
Yeah, the
the
Sphere
one over
here.
here.
I wouldn't want to fight there either.
The biggest ball.
I wouldn't want to fight there.
Where are you going to fight then?
I would want to fight at either T-Mobile or MGM.
That's thinking too small then.
Oh, well, how many seats did the Sphere have?
About 17.5, 20,000.
What does T-Mobile have? About 20?
It's the same
It's
thing.
about the
But
same.
it's the newest one, and it's Madison Square Garden, And they just put the biggest thing. You never had nobody in boxing open it up. Wouldn't you want to be the first?
That would be a headliner for sure.
Yeah, but
and
they
that would
have
be
to
a way
make
to.
that, they have to make that happen.
Oh, I like
They,
this.
you guys have
I'm
to
gonna chew
make.
you up right now. I like this.
You guys, no, chew me up, but you guys got to make that fight happen, right?
That ain't my problem no
But
more.
because you're calling yourself the king of one.
I am the king. Lenio is
140, right?
Lenio is
and
king.
then Devin's there, but you can't crown yourself the king until you actually defeat Devin, and then
How
you
is
would
that?
be a clean. Well, because Devin's undefeated, you have a loss.
And I still came back and won and beat the undisputed world champion at
Yeah, but
140. That beat Regis Prograis first.
Yeah, but before you crown yourself the
Facts.
king, you would have to fight Devin. That's
Why
what
is
kings
that?
do.
What is a king of Devin?
That's what kings do, right?
Devin's a
Kings
queen.
collide. Kings collide with other kings.
Devin takes it up the
And-
butt,
and-
if
and
anything.
Kings collide with other kings and take it over, right? That's what kings do.
Yeah,
They've
and that's
been
why
doing it.
I'm going to the next Lenio champion, who is Terrence Crawford.
So you're going after Terrence Crawford.
Yes,
So
because
you're
he's the
moving up in
Lenio
weight.
world champion.
So you're moving up in weight.
Yeah, I'll go up in weight.
Okay. So basically you're leaving 140.
If it comes to it and Crawford says yes to a fight, wouldn't the king fight the other king?
Yeah, but you have Devin sitting right there.
Devin is number 2, fam.
Yeah, but he's undefeated. He's number 2 because he just
Anybody
got
could
to
be
the-
undefeated when you got a padded record.
Yeah, so
You
that
have
was
like-
something.
Half of, check the stats, check his record. Half of his career is in Mexico. Did you
I
know
mean,
that?
that's the most boxers, though.
No, I didn't have any.
Everybody
check
starts
all my
in
fights.
Mexico.
All my fights have been in the United States.
So you mean to tell me
Oh, I like this, Nick.
Okay, so every single fighter that you fought has had an impeccable record since day one.
For the majority part,
Come
yes.
on, man. Y'all fight cab drivers to start.
No, look at my records.
Everybody
pull it out
fights
on
cab
box rep.
drivers just to
Got
start.
you.
I may
Look at
have
that.
a few in the beginning,
Because
but
that's normal.
none of them were in Mexico.
Yeah, but it's
Did you hear about the rumor that he lost in Mexico and they had to write it off?
but there's so many. They say Floyd lost too, right? It's just
But he's undefeated, right?
he lost in the Olympics. I mean, that's
Why are we
that's
bringing the
normal.
Olympics when it's professional?
Yeah,
it's-
professional, not the
it's-
amateur stuff.
It's normal, bro.
Oh, I'm
but
cooking him.
everybody fights in
You
Mexico.
can't step here. I'm the king.
Everybody fights in
You
Mexico.
can't step here.
So-
I is king.
We could talk about his up and coming, or we could talk about, as far as what's happening now. Devin has the past 5 fights, bro.
He been just
he's
copying
lined
what
him
I've
up
been
and
doing.
knocked him down. You got to give him
So
that.
explain the Lomachenko fight.
He
yeah,
beat
that one.
Lomachenko.
Mm.
Devin beat Lomachenko. 3 judges aren't gonna lie.
3 judges could get paid.
3 judges aren't gonna lie. We're talking about boxing.
Well, you got to think about it too, man. You
He
say
lost.
business, right? You think business?
Yeah,
Okay. Who's more
marketable.
accountable and marketable?
Devin.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you lose, you lose.
You lose, you lose.
If you lose, you lose. You're more
You lose, you
marketable than
lose.
Kambosos,
If I lose, I lose.
and you
But
lost.
did you see
against
my
him.
track record on my own conditions?
Yeah, but if you lost to Kambosos, if it's about marketing,
3 doctors from New York,
right?
PhD doctors,
Mhm.
which is the highest accolade really to
Right.
graduate and get your PhDs
Right.
and everything in doctors,
Right.
said I should be dead.
Why?
I ain't dead, fam. I'm right here. I'm living.
Yeah, but why should you?
What
be
was
dead?
this? What was this about?
Yeah, what was it about?
Oh, because my ego got in the way of everything. Why? They postponed my fight several times
Mhm.
to the point where, and this is a freedom of speech. See, now George Washington says this: freedom of speech is taken away, then we are led like sheep led to a slaughter.
Right.
Okay, so when you think about it, when it came to it, how is it that they allow the sanctioning body during that time that was hosting that event and that fight? Allow George Kambosos, who is only a challenger, not the champion.
It's the B side.
He's the B side.
Right.
But how is it that they allow the B side, right, to go and say, I don't want to fight on this date because of X, Y, and Z? If he says no, then you have to get out and they give me the next contender that is next after him. So if he was number 2 ranked or 3rd ranked, they got to give me number 4 ranked. That's how it works. However, because of what I did against Vasily Lomachenko, it made me blacklisted. The plan was to get rid of me because I was moving up to now from 135. I was going to let go of the belts after beating Kambosos. I expressed that because I'm very expressive. You may not know that because you're not from New York. So when it comes to it, I said, this is my last fight at 135. What happens then? Devin Haney has to stay at 135 longer to recollect all those belts because once I relinquish them, that's 4 more fights you got to collect. Is it not?
Yeah.
So what'd you rather do? Get the guy out of the way, give him Kambosos, who's the weakest link. Everybody called him out. Wahid called him out. Everybody in the division, Ryan Garcia called him out after he beat me. Why? And Devin Haney, they show a video of them celebrating after I lost. So not only do they have proof of him celebrating that I lost if they wanted to fight me, but then they also have saying no to the fight where they overpriced themselves for like $4-8 million. Top Rank was like, we're not going to pay you that because you don't have the momentum yet. Secondly, what happened to the meeting with Bob? Never showed up. And then thirdly, I contacted him directly and asked me, why did I get his number? How? Well, because I want to fight you. But isn't that what a king got to do?
So you feel like your fight with Kambosos
Absolutely.
was scripted?
It was definitely scripted. But what happened was that my ego got in the way, knowing that
So did you know it was scripted?
Did I know it was scripted?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or did you figure
not.
it out afterwards?
That's the only way you find out the devil's hand.
Yo, there's something interesting that you said, though, because I feel like it happens a lot where people, like you were...
You know how many times you got to go up in weight, drop in weight, go up in weight, and drop in weight, go up in weight, and drop in weight 7 times getting ready for a fight that is not even mandatory technically? If I would have dropped the IBF belt, there goes everybody's plans.
Yeah, but how could it be scripted, Tio, when he dropped
Because
you?
that's business.
He dropped you, though.
In the first round, but I dropped him in the 10th. And he
Yeah, so
woke
how
up.
was any of that scripted?
I'm the champion. I dropped him in the 10th. Isn't it?
No.
The champion has
Yeah,
to be, you have to beat
You got to
the
beat the
champion.
champ. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
but how is it scripted if
How is it
those
scripted?
two things
Fam,
happen?
I got a flash knockdown when I dropped Kambosos. He couldn't get up. And that was me dying. I had a cut, a torn in my neck and in my chest. I had airflow through my heart. I had air going through my neck to my head. Going through those 6-7 rounds, I'm looking at the lights because energy is all of us, right? So I was looking at the lights like, God, I'm about to quit on this stool. I'm about to quit on this stool because I can't breathe. I can't go. It was weird. It was a weird situation. It was like the more I threw punches was the only time that I was able to keep going and breathe. The moment I stopped and was watching him,
Adrenaline. Yeah.
the doctor said I had a 300-pound vase going down. I should be dead. All the dude had to do was hit me straight to my lungs. And I would have collapsed in the ring. And I wouldn't be here. But everything happens for a reason, does it not? And everything happened in my favor. See, the thing is
is
that,
this your first time speaking on that? Because I've never heard this.
yeah, if it got to be. I mean, Mark Kriegel put it on ESPN, but no one's going to read that because they got to write it off.
Okay.
Feel me? It's like I went through the barriers.
Mhm.
Every time I get a cut, I don't wipe it off. I'm a warrior. That's what kings do. They die for what they love. See, I've been doing the game for 20 plus years now. You feel me? And what has that taught me? It's taught me the ups and the downs. See, it may seem like I got a loss, but maybe we all got to take away the O to make it back to what it was in the 80s,
So that
to
was...
the 70s, to the 90s.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali is the greatest, and he has how many
12,
losses?
I think 12.
He got a bunch. And that was something...
Pacquiao got
so-
6.
There's a...
Okay, and what are they known for?
Hall of Famers.
Exactly. See, I got 2 Hall of Fame careers and one by the age of 25. Look it up.
There's a lot there that I want to break down. And it was something that you said there in passing about, like, you kind of fucked their plans up. And then from there, because you see it happen all the time. And I think I'm more of an MMA guy, like UFC.
Think they want me to win this fight, homie?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know when they have...
Think they want me to win this fight?
So, I mean, what?
Ask yourself that.
I mean, are they? What
They
is
want
this?
me to win this fight.
What is this? Get rid of Lomo? I mean, not.
No,
I mean,
get
Tio?
rid of the guy
Is this get rid of Tio?
It's get rid of Theo, which is the gift of God. If you look at Greek mythology, Theo is gift of God. You got to get rid of the God.
But why do they want to get rid of you?
Because I ruin investments. They put so
you
much
fucked
money.
the plans up. That's what I was saying.
You got to realize people are coming into the mix now where you have Wahid in the mix. You have Javante, not Javante because he's Wahid now, but then you have Devin Haney as well in the mix.
Mhm.
Mainly, these are the 2 pioneers that they've been bringing up the most because they're putting so much money in them. They have yet to get that back. If I'm in the mix, they got to move around. And it's eventually going to get caught up to their face.
So you're a threat to Tank
to not even
and
to
Devin.
not even the fighters, let alone it's the investors behind it. And you know what? It's cool. Look, I got Bud Light, Essentia, and I told them, hey, let's make something happen for this fight. Have I gotten any response back? Absolutely not, because people are not gonna invest in me until they see my results. which is okay. It's fine. And I forgive everyone. And when I win this fight, and the way I'm going to win this fight, then I'll forgive them as it should be, because God forgave all of us. So who am I to be regretful and judgeful and grudgeful?
You and this guy fought in the amateurs, right?
Yeah, we fought in 2015 here in Las Vegas, and it was the National Golden Gloves. Something that Devin Haney should have done, and he never did. Instead, he went pro and went to Mexico. See, I grew up with these guys, Ryan Garcia, Javante Davis at that time.
Yeah, that's your those are your
crew.
peers. That's
that
your
was
crew,
like
yeah.
It was like the class of, class of 2015, class of 2012. That was us. Shakur. We all known each other since 11, 12 years old and grew up from there on. So we know each other very well personally. They know me by Gordo. You know what I mean? That's how well we know each other. Shakur, known as Bam Bam. So it's like, you guys may not understand it because the investors behind it don't want you to.
Yeah,
and when you say the business of boxing,
there's a whole business behind anything.
But the businessmen never took a punch to their face. So why are we allowing them to dictate where our race goes?
Because they have more money than you. That's why.
That's fine, but they're not going to make more money than us when they won't. Oh, they have more money than us.
That's how that goes.
But the thing is, isn't when they put in the investment is to get out?
I mean, it just depends on where the money.
Why would a whole bunch of people come in with their money to not see it come back?
Well, it just depends on where the money's at. See, the money can be on you. It can be on both sides, or it can be on the draw. It can be on, this is what happens.
Why would it go to a draw?
I mean, you just never know, depending.
And that
on,
means it's written.
Who they're.
Yeah, that's a big talking point amongst in the betting circles. People think that a lot of this stuff is. I don't like using the word rigged because I'm in that space, but there's a lot to what you said, bro, that I agree with you on. Because
I can express this.
You see this happen a lot, bro, where they're building up a certain matchup that they want in any sport, or a certain guy is coming up. And then someone like you comes and kind of fucks the plan up. Yeah. And then, like you say, you're kind of blacklisted.
Oh, I got blacklisted the moment I beat Loma.
Yeah, because you fucked the plan up.
Yeah, because it was a new generation.
So what was supposed to happen with, let's say, let's say if Lomo would have won, right?
Good question.
So what's the outcome? How does that story
Devin
end?
Haney would be regular champion. Lomachenko would be undisputed world champion.
And no one gave you a shot in that fight, bro. I remember you being a huge underdog.
Wasn't he plus 600, plus 700?
I'd say plus 500 consensus.
Yes.
And one of my friends called me. Shouts to my guy Ty. Him and Jarrell called me, and they're like, "Yo, this kid's from New York, bro. You got to bet on him." I was like, "All right, cool." And he went in there, handled business. And again, now knowing everything that you said, it makes more sense. Everything that transpired after.
You got to think about it. Anheuser-Busch owns Michelob Ultra Arena.
Right.
So if anyone's really and I'm the first boxer to bring back Anheuser-Busch, fam. They haven't seen beer company this large in about 15 plus years. Look it up. So who's really doing boss moves? Top Rank ain't paying for this venue. It's my sponsors. So who's really paying for the venue? Who's really paying for the event? Who's really making the marketing for the team? Top Rank is doing a phenomenal job, as they should.
You need Top Rank, though, because they got the networks. They got TV.
No, I need Bob Arum and Todd DeBuff. That's all. And
that's Top Rank.
That is Top Rank? Right. Absolutely, yes. However, it's about building relationships moving forward. I'm not here to talk badly about them because I wouldn't be the takeover if it wasn't for ESPN and Top Rank. As much as it wouldn't be for Haney. Haney needed a platform like The Zone. And he needed Eddie Hearn, like a promoter.
Right.
So we all need someone eventually.
Yeah, you guys are all
up.
Partners. Everybody's partnering with somebody, right?
So no one's a boss. We just are partners.
Do you think it'd be easier to get these fights if everything was under one umbrella?
Fuck it.
No? You still think you still think that there'd be
that makes sense, right?
No.
If all the fighters were under one umbrella, under one house, all the fights would be in that same house. The money would stay under one umbrella.
See, that's the thing, though. It's competition and currency. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar. I fuck with that.
Well, that's Drake's bar.
Yeah.
So shout out to Drake. Aubrey. Graham. So, it's all those things. I'm not here to come towards y'all but I got to defend my own because I actually know. I know the bad that comes in it now because it happened to me. The only person that really got a stain in their record is me. None of those other guys because they saw it. Hey, well, look what happened with Tio. Look what happened with Gordo when he went at them. They gave that man his loss. I ain't trying to have that. I'm trying to stay like Pretty Boy Mayweather and keep my O. But then what happens? Well, then they become controlled. See, I'm not controlled by anybody. The only one that controls me is the Lord Almighty above. And yet he lets me be free-willed. The thing is that they don't want freedom in any man. Because man manifests from the heavens onto earth, not woman. And I'm not I'm not against women, but that's what man was for. Manifest, break it up. Man feast I. Man feast God. And we, as adults and as grown men, and for those watching, need to understand the depths of what it means to be a man. Why are we getting so many man to turn into woman? Why are we getting the gender to switch? Now, I don't have any issues with pronouns and the LGBTQ. May they do what they wish. However, me, I got my son. He's 2 years old and he's a boy. I'm going to make sure he stays a man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The only way we are able to do that is by how? Examples.
Right.
You have a job outside of our job here. So you got to really touch to the depths. Now, when it goes back to Lomachenko and when I beat him, yes, I was blacklisted. And yes, these things were mixed. I'm still blacklisted. But
Okay, what does
listen,
blacklisted mean in boxing?
there's an antenna in boxing that all these other entertainers and all these other networks and all these other industries from all different worlds, from music to acting to this to that and the third, go to that antenna because they don't want to go all the way down. Too much work. But they go back to that antenna. So whoever's holding that antenna for boxing
Got the power.
got the power. And that power, they say, no, this is my guy. This is the one you want to go for. If Devin Haney is such a king, why did he make 50,000 to 30,000 pay-per-view buys? That's a slap on the face. Why is it that he got 19,000 people in his hometown in the Bay? Shout out to the Bay, right? But yet they were selling it for $10. Matter of fact, giving a lot of those tickets away. Me, I'm fighting on Super Bowl week. Something I tried to give Devin Haney when he had the problem with Progress. Something that we were trying to give to the fans because that's what's mainly everything, is it not? When you give the people what they ask for, you win the people.
They appreciate you too, yeah.
Muhammad Ali was bigger than the sport of boxing for that reason, because he stood on something and didn't fall for anything. Even after they killed Malcolm X, even after they killed Martin Luther King Jr., he still stood tall, and maybe he might have moved a little differently. However, he had the people. And that's everything. Out of a mountain of despair, a stone of hope, is it not? And you and I, we all maybe look different in color, but that's why I love Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, she said it. I only believe in one race, the human race.
Mm.
We're dividing so much that it's taken away the origin of humanity.
But there's currency and competition, right?
Yes, outside of business, not human. Then you become humane, not a human being. And human being is man and God. It's the thing what it is. It's flesh, then it's being, which is soul.
So they want you to lose this fight, this up and coming fight.
Well, they wishing for it, but homie is like, this ain't my plan, this is God's plan. He does what he wants with me. That's what I followed throughout.
Why do you feel like they want you to lose? Why?
Because I'm young. Everything that they've done has been later in their life. I've done it within a quarter of my life. So I've done, and a lot of people do comparisons. Even those investors alone, they do comparisons. Well, shoot, when I was 23, I didn't win the whole world.
Yeah, there's always going to be that measuring stick between.
Yeah, the investors are like, well, I didn't have the whole world. Did you? No. Well, then why we got to let this Latino spick come in the mix and get this? Oh, we got to figure this thing out.
There's envy.
It's envy.
Yeah.
And what is the four devils? Jealousy, hate, envy, and lust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot bigger than what y'all see. But I'm grateful to be here today because, it's time. This is the infinite year. Do the math. 2024. Add that up. It's infinite. And I'm just here to teach knowledge because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take the time to go back to the future.
Yeah, but I'm just.
There's a couple things because I'm looking at the clock there too, and I know we had you for a little bit already, and I appreciate your time, like how we started the conversation in the beginning. There's a couple things because I know you kind of got riled up with some
I'm only
of the,
26, fam.
some of the questions.
26.
I want to
268.
I want to ask you about fighting in New York as a New Yorker. I think that's like one of the coolest things that, like every kid growing up playing basketball would want to play at MSG, being a fighter and fighting at the Garden. What were your emotions like fighting at MSG and continuing to fight at MSG whenever you go?
Madison Square Garden is my home. It's made me who I am. It's taught me a lot of plans. It's taught me the good and the bad. It's taught me. I've won my first world title there. I lost all my world titles there. I gained all my world titles again. You know what I'm saying? That's legendary. It's so hard to come back when you lose, especially when they're writing you off. You got to have a lot of faith in this. That's why they say it's the toughest sport in the world. Fighting at Madison Square Garden is like no other. You can put me anywhere else. And I love every arena that I'm presented at. No disrespect. But that's why they call it the Mecca.
Yeah.
The legends of the century. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, who hit 81 points at the Garden. It's where legends are not born, they're made, they're created.
Yeah, it's a different aura, man. Even like being a New Yorker, when you go into
Billy Joel, I mean,
when you go into the Garden, it just feels different. Like especially like when it's a big event. When it's a big event, it just is like a Knicks playoff game, bro. When you go to the Garden or a big fight, it's
I've never been there.
It's unbelievable.
And the beauty
man.
of it is this, though. Although maybe many out there may want me written off, I got every state and country and board that supports me. Whether they like it or not, and it's not bragging about it or boasting about it, I've earned my stripes, fam, from every corner by respect and giving them my respect first. Because that's all a man can ever do, right? Is give them your respect and see where that goes. You can't get respect by saying you gotta respect me. No, you gotta earn
it's your
that.
actions. Yeah,
It's by
for sure.
actions. So when every group came to me, that's all I ever did was give them my respect and said, I won't mess up your money and I won't step on your toes. Because at the end of the day, you got more power than me in this damn world. And I ain't gonna cross that for nobody. Because as a man, I want everybody to win. I love everybody that hustles, whether they do it legally or illegally. Go get your money, fam. You got to go feed your kids. Do what you got to do. My father did it for me and my family, so do what you got to do.
Feel you on that, bro. My dad, we got a coffee
And
truck.
that's why New York.
Yeah, it's a different hustle.
And it's not taken away from the West Coast because they got a beautiful hustle.
No, for sure.
You feel me? They got a nice, y'all really got a nice setup. And it's beautiful. And that, it taught me good wisdom. Taught me good wisdom. But going back to my fight, February 8th, the Michelob Ultra Arena at Mandalay Bay on Super Bowl week. I mean, I'm blessed to even be back here and to come back and try to fix up the game a bit. And the only way by doing that is by convincing the people that I am that guy that could give you guys this as long as you all stand with me, because I am nothing without the people. See, I don't believe in just Latinos. Nah. I can speak. Yo puedo hablar español también si quieres, pero I don't. I believe that we as people together, united we stand, divided we fall. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they meant with the 2600 BC when they made the pyramids. They made the pyramids in 2600 BC and they said, united we stand, divided we fall. So while I'm back here and still doing it, I found my purpose. It's take care of these damn kids. Take care of the next generation, the youth, because what we're losing mainly is more than our sport of boxing, more than what we're losing outside of what we're doing. We're losing a lot of generation wealth outside of these kids. Whose agenda is that? I mean, I'm sure you guys know. So
Look, let me ask you this.
I got one more too after, but good.
So give me, after this fight, so I'll give this 5. So give me 4 boxers right now that would be, if you could pick them, line them all up and do something mega with them, who would be your 4 boxers?
tough to say, man, because my plans and God's plans are different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to know what were yours.
My main one that gets me going to do all this is going to be Crawford because he's the king at the 47, defeated every guy at 47, has conquered 35 and 40. That's my triple crown right there because they may not say it, but I am the greatest fighter of this era. The only way I prove that is facing a guy like Crawford because he has more skill sets than Devin Haney. He has more skill sets than Javante, Wahid, Davis. You know, he has more skill sets than those guys.
So who would be number 2?
I will do Devin Haney just for the cause of everybody talking about this. And then from there, we could go with Tank.
And then who would be 4?
Ryan Garcia is just money-making machine. You know what I'm saying? I might even just go to 54 or 60. Why not? Because you got to realize something.
What do you walk around
Right now,
at?
I'm 147. And I fight at 40.
Mm.
See, I've been training. I just keep it on the low. Because I can't let those guys that want to write me off. See, when I fought Josh Taylor back in June, I took off for 6 weeks, came back in August, started training, staying ready. Even though I said I retired, you know, but that's just a mess up more plans. You got to find loopholes. You see, if I did not say I retired, they probably would have forced me, mandatory, to fight in December on the 9th at Madison Square Garden because I have the world title. They would say, well, it's business. You got to fight this guy. It's mandatory to fight this, or you got to let go of your belt. Now, the beauty about being a lineal world champion, I'll tell you this. Although I'm the WBO world champion, in my mind, unofficially, I'm undisputed. No one beat Josh Taylor.
Mm.
He beat everybody in the 140 division. So when you think about it, well, how do I block all of this after I win? Shoot, I got to think about this now. Well, once I beat this guy, like, what's there more to prove? 22 to 32 experts ripped me off. We're talking about experts that have been in the boxing game for over 40, 50 years. That have seen the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, that have seen the likes of Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, and Rocky Marciano, and so on and so forth. So they ripped me off. That means they know something that I don't know, right? But when I beat Josh Taylor, I said, I'm retired. Oh.
You cause an uproar.
Yeah.
Because why? You can't make it mandatory. You can't push me to fight December 9th because I just said I retired. And that means that I have the time. And I said, hey, I'm retiring for one thing and one thing only. So I can spend more time with my son. And if you guys could respect that, because I haven't seen him for about a whole year. He just turned 2. And let me get these 6 months in. Maybe I'll go even longer. And then when the time is right, which is now, I'll be back. And that's what happened. You know, I'm grateful to be in this position. However, I killed myself plenty of times to get here. You know, at 26 now, it's like, how do I change my momentum and look to the world? Well, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. So I'm here to be honey. I'm here to be genuine and light. And although, you know, if the truth is taken away from us, then then we is in hell. So we have to accept the balance. I know they're trying to write it to 9-6, but it has to stay 6-9.
I think the coolest thing about you, man, outside of being a born and raised New Yorker, I think you see it happen a lot in the fight game, whether it's boxing, MMA. A guy is undefeated and then he suffers a loss, and then their whole shit gets derailed. Their confidence goes down. And for you to bounce back with the multiple wins, now continuing, that's a big thing, man, because, you know,
Mental.
it is. So
I had some guys that I'm helping along the way. I'm having a lot of fighters, by the way, wanting to come under to my stable because they understand. I always remember this: a real fighter knows a real fighter, and he knows what he's doing. So boxers, look at me. I'm champion of the world, 2-time undisputed first male. Whether they want to write it off or not, they even had Wikipedia lie. There's a freedom of speech now. If you take my freedom of speech, then sheep led to a slaughter is what we are. So, and that's why the dollar is still alive till then. You got to go back to everything, man. George Washington, they have to keep that law. If they don't keep the law, then man, God help us all. So, but that's what I mean. When I express myself, I'm just being myself and I challenge myself. Am I going to get stuff for this? I'm not going to let you change it. It just needs to be spoken. Because you got to be a real one and look at everybody and how much respect do you get? You get so much love because those that maybe have fallen are like, at least someone is standing up to the freaking beast.
Holding it down for everyone.
Because then that's how you get your love from all those boroughs and all those like blocks. I go anywhere. Maybe not Memphis, but I go anywhere else. Anywhere else, and you know, we game.
Right. Hey, how much longer do you want to fight? Do you have? I know you're in the middle of fighting now, but like, has that crossed your mind?
My whole thing is I want to be the door. I want to be that antenna for boxing. So how long ever it takes me to get there, because I may have to write a few people off that's up there, but it's the only betterment for the sport because the boxing guys don't like what's going on. I'll tell you right now, you think Muhammad Ali's happy with seeing what he's seeing? He fought everybody and anybody and lost.
Yeah, records didn't matter then, bro.
It didn't matter because it was about...
And that's when it was at like the highest.
And we need to bring that back.
Yeah.
We can't, although I respect MMA, I do, because it's a form of fighting. It's an art. That's what it is, mixed martial art. So I respect all that they do. However, we need to hold on to the number one spot, and that's being the toughest sport in the world. We can't be tough if the fighters are falling back and allowing their investors, and they can't do nothing about it. I'll be honest with you, Wayne. He can't do anything about it. He may say he's his own boss. I'm speaking on the Haney. May say he's this and that, but he can't do anything about it. Because when the going went tough, he fell. When when it came to me, I said, I need more because that's the only way I'm able to find more in depth. Every time, like it took me, I cried for 4 days before I signed this contract with Jermaine Ortiz because I know what I'm going back into. It's like doing a deal with the devil. Although I'm not with him, but trust me, he finds every single day in my dreams and in physical form to kind of get me off. And I got to stay positive.
You go into a war, man. Like
it's a war. It's a warfare. It's a warfare. It's a spiritual war. Because he has an objective to prove that God was wrong. Is it not? Our objective is to prove that God was right. He was wrong. There's only one God. That's the Almighty God. Everybody calls the belly of the beast a God. That's on them. Everybody has their agenda. Mine, I already chose my side. And it's here. So where are we going to go from there? Well, may the best win. That's it. That's the only battle that we can do, right? And I pray every night. I pray every day. Watch my words and watch what I say. That's it. And boxing is that. I got to protect these kids because they're all wasting their time if I don't stand for this. I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm sure there's other ones out there. You know what I'm saying? And anyone that has fallen into the trap, because I think a lot of it is sometimes traps, you know, desperation sometimes, you know, because anyone knows what's best in this world, it is him. You know what I mean? And you got to really tap in on this in that sense. That's why I love sports, but I also love people more than anything. I love kids. When I see kids walk around and everything, come over here. You know, when I was a kid once, I used to want to meet Floyd and all these other champions at the time. Some didn't have time for us and some did. But now that I'm in that shoes, when I see those kids, I even let them knock me out. Like, oh, and drop me. They're never going to forget that moment. See, we're all going to die one day. But it's what we leave behind. Look at Kobe. He left a lot behind, did he not?
Fuck yeah, he did.
Shook up the whole shit.
Bro, like, yeah, I mean, the influence that he's had on all the guys now that are superstars in the league, and then that's just going to live forever.
But what did he do? He stood in what? His box, his ring, which was basketball. Basketball. While everybody else, LeBron and all them guys were clubbing and drinking and partying and getting the women, when they came back from the thing, I mean, y'all seen the interviews and the documentary. They said, yo, he was in the gym working out at 3, 4 in the morning. That's a different kind of, and what he did, he motivated them to look at a different perspective and started training at that time with him. That's leadership.
By example, too.
By example. You don't do it by saying, come over here, trust me, believe me. No, you do it with action. So I worked so hard for this moment to not be written as, oh, Teofimo knows how to get to the top, but he don't know how to keep it. No. I've been at the top.
So how do you think this fight ends?
It won't go past 4 rounds.
Okay.
It won't go both. I've been sparring.
So should we bet the under?
Then put 300. Triple down. Because that's what we're showing, the Triple Crown. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've had enough, and there's nothing that those investors can do, because I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. I'm in God's hands. So anyone that does any harm to me, there goes a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I'm not here to press nobody. It's just what I believe in. When you have a lot of belief inside, then you have a lot of light, you have a lot of faith. Because I know everyone is ran by that boss.
Gotcha.
You know?
I want to ask you one last thing, and then I want you to show us the shirt that you got on promoting your fight.
You know what I said to him? You know what I said to the Satan? Because he came to me in another form, and I just told him, I said, you and I fear the same God, and it's not you. Everybody looked at me like I was fucking crazy. I am crazy.
You gonna say, man?
Well, I mean, it kind of ties into it, because I'm always fascinated.
Have faith, man.
I'm always fascinated, bro, by fighters when you go out in public. Have you had people try to test you that you could share? Or are they?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every night, especially after this. But you know something? It gets the people going.
Yeah.
You know, it's provocative.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's like, let's get it going. What's the hold up, man?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see our gods go at it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what it's all about.
Keep going, Tio, for real, man.
Because I represent you, and all of us. Got to hold on. And whether it gets me or not, all I ask is that y'all hold me proudly, or they say he was one.
For sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, hey, that's all I ever could ask, man. Is to be at least even maybe a centimeter of what Kobe was. And I say a centimeter because I won't be that. But at least something.
But you could be that for someone, bro. You never know.
Right.
What the
kids?
influence that you have. Yeah.
Well, you guys have the platform, and this is what it's all about. It's the veterans minimum. So this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all are here to express ourselves and be ourselves. You know, not a lot of people can, because, you know, they maybe have some other people to market them differently. Me, I have no fear. I think the only fear I do have is if I was wrong in my Lord's eyes. That's it.
Gotcha.
You know, but the kids and boxing, that's what they love. You know, check this out, Fortnite dances and stuff. I crossed over for Fortnite in boxing. And then they started ESPN putting their apps into the PlayStation and into the Xbox and all that. Who did that? Teofimo. Essentia Water got bought by Nestle when I put out the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Who did that? Teofimo. I'm a billionaire outside of this. But they won't pay me that because they know what I will do with that money. I'll give it to your community, to all the people out there, because that's what it's all about. A giver. There's 2 types of people in this world, fam. There's givers and there's takers. The givers sleep better. The takers eat better. And I learned in life, sleep is the best medicine. You know? And I'm already on a diet, for crying out loud. I barely eat. So it's like, I'm just here to show everyone that this is another way you could do it and not get touched. However, you got to always bow down to the Father and give your flowers to him, not to yourself. Because we'll always be number 2. Remember that. We'll always be number 2, because when the Son of God comes, the Omega, he leads the way. For only through him are we able to reach the Father, the Almighty Father. See, I'm a father now. I was blessed by that from above. I must hold that with a lot of grace. And my son holds my name, Teofimo the 5th. If you know your commandments, it means thou shalt not kill. I could be killed, but my son won't. But I got to hold on for as long as I can, so that at least he sees a better lighting and a better way. I could guide him. Now, when he's of age, 13, that's when it really starts. he could decide where he wants to go. Know what I mean? That's on
Mhm.
him. But his dad could lead that way for him. At least to show
lead
him.
by example once again.
Lead by example, like we all talk about.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm excited to watch your fight.
Yeah.
Thank you again, bro. I told you
coming through,
20,
bro.
30 minutes. You've given us about an hour, so I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Let the people know about your next fight. Show that
Yes.
shirt. If we can get an ISO, there we go. And then where they could find you on social.
The greatest showman right here, man. We're putting on a show before the show. You don't want to miss it on ESPN. For everybody, man, have faith, have love, have hope. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself. When you do, you believe in God, main and only. So for all that being said, follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Oh, not even Twitter no more. It is X. So on the X app, at Teofimo Lopez, the one and only.
I'll make sure that I'll have all that in the bio. At Veterans Minimum, as you can find all things VM. At Nick Deus Tenors, you can find me. Wayne, where can they find you?
At the creator on Instagram, THECR38TOR. Thank you guys for listening, watching.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, that was